I'm ready to announce my verdict at this time. The court finds the defendant.
Objection!
Yo, I just knew it. I said it in the last one. Let's go. Yo YouTube, what is good? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are back with another video in the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy series. We are currently again on case number 5. This is the final game, Trials and Tribulations. We are diving into the first part of the trial. I'm sure there will be a few of these parts, but we're going to be hopefully getting to the bottom of what actually happened on the night of the murder of Madame Dumoy, I think. Forget what her name is, but basically the woman who was at the temple that we were visiting for Maya and Pearl's training. So ladies and gentlemen, let's stop the yapping. Let's go ahead and jump into it. If you're ready, then so am I. This is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, game number 3, case number 5. Let's jump into it. So just a reminder to everybody who's watching this, no spoilers. We do have a new system in place. I have somebody who will review comments and stuff. So if you spoil it or if you offer any hints or anything like that, it will be removed. And if you are intentionally spoiling, then you'll just have to be hidden from the channel. It just is what it is. This will be a new thing that we're putting on for specifically this game because we are reaching the conclusion of a very long story arc. So I hope y'all understand. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Yo, February 9th, 9:47 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 1. Let's get it.
Oh my, Mr. Larice feels that way about me?
Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed.
I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing.
Worry not. And in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him.
Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today?
No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand.
Sister Bikini.
She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Dunham, was it? Dunham, I don't know.
That is correct. It wasn't me.
Very well then.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes?
You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed...
Don't worry. I have made the necessary arrangements. Yeah, how are we gonna pull this off? I totally forgot. Bro is finessing the entire courtroom into believing that he is a defending attorney, or a defense attorney. Even though he is a notorious Edgeworth, Miles Edgeworth. I swear if he's putting on like fake glasses and a mustache, I will actually roll on the floor laughing.
I see.
Iris, it is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend told me once. W. Phoenix?
Mr. Edgeworth!
My hollow heart could cry right now. Like, internally, she does not believe this. Ain't no way. I'm not falling for this. I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself. Yo, you know what's cool? I feel like we're about to like go into this because we're currently in the perspective of Edgeworth and technically Phoenix, who actually thoroughly believe that this is not Dahlia Hawthorne. So I think the reveal is going to come from us, basically like learning through them that this is Dahlia. Maybe. And then the real stuff will commence. We'll see. Yo, Monica, welcome back to the stream. He wears a shirt saying not Miles Edgeworth. He just wears a big old sign in the front.
Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands.
Okay. Okay. February 9th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 7. Okay, now he does have the classic fit on, so maybe.
Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. Let's go, Edgeworth!
The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case.
What if he said he was Gregory Edgeworth? Isn't that his dad? Isn't Greg his dad? Bruh. That'd have been cool. That'd have been cold, actually. That would have been cold. Yeah, that would have been cold. Indeed. Alright, let's get it, y'all.
I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. Eh? Time for a maple donut break. Why does the judge look like that? Bro, look at the defense attorney badge on his lapel. Yeah, it's a fake. It's a phony. It's a phony. I have Phoenix's actual one, but I wish I could see what his actually does look like. Will it actually show me? I'm ready to announce my verdict at this time. The court finds the defendant.
Objection!
Yo, I just knew it. I said it in the last one. Let's go. Bring her back. Bring her back. The prosecution stands ready. Hold on, I gotta remember her voice. Oh, this is so good, bro. And you are Franziska von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Okay, hold on, I gotta bring the flare back. Ugh. Okay. The von Karma, you say? Perchance you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Oh, she sure is. But will she comment on it though? Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma, that is all. Ugh! Ugh! She said that with her entire being! Oh my goodness! I'm rereading this back in my head over and over again. I am a von Karma, that is all. It's Franziska, the goat. One of the goats. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Dawson, this judge is a bit different than the last case. This is one punctual judge. Francisco was like a minute late, and she was ready to just say night. Yeah, he was really ready to just hit the gavel like fast. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say? There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't, but I'm sure once before in this courtroom. Ah! I told you there is no such weakling. What is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for a thing in my courtroom. Oh, it doesn't care what you want. She's gonna use it. I mean, bro, she's just gonna use it. I can't stand Francisca because maybe it's because of the whipping, but see, I think at first I didn't like her because she was very infantile, kind of like her way of like processing things and like trying to always get her way. Then I had to realize that her dad, that she literally was following in the footsteps or was trying to of her dad in a way. Or at least it felt like it. But like in the same way, like with Edgeworth too, and that's why I love like their storyline too, because it's like you could see both of them grow past like their mentors' teachings in a way. It's like they get to overcome that annoyingness. That's why I personally like her, but I can see why people wouldn't. Just because like, yeah, she just whips constantly, and she does have a bit of flair, like a bit of air to her, or what an air of superiority in her voice. But dude, I don't know. I feel like her arc was just very fun and enjoyable to watch in the last game. But bailiff, remove that whip. It doesn't matter. I have no objection to the whip. Yo, Edgeworth. Yeah, my fault. I mean, I wasn't familiar with what you were particularly into. But hey, I'm not gonna judge. Hey, bro. You don't. The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. But there is still only one truth. That is what I stand to prove here today. Let's go! Yeah! This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. She came here expecting to get her get back? Aw, bro. Yeah, maybe next time. You already went like, how many Ks were in the last game? Like 4? But was she in all 4? She was in 3. 3 of the cases, right? I can't remember. There were definitely less cases last game, so I think it was like 4, but she was in 3 of them. 0 for 3? I had expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. Wait, she might have only been in 2. Cause didn't Edgeworth take over? Edgeworth, I'm sorry, I'm getting into too much. Basically, yeah. She basically kept losing. Yeah, basically technically too because of time traveling. What in the world?
I expected to face Phoenix Wright here today, but looking at you now, maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. We played in the past. Oh, okay, yeah. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you through, slip through. Well, I butchered that. I butchered that. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. I just butchered it again. Hold on. 3. Are we gonna do it 3 for 3? Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip. It's the way I'm saying it. It's the way I'm saying it. It's the way I'm saying it. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. No, hold on. That is a little blurb there. You get the idea, okay? Yeah, I remember. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Oh my gosh, these two are gonna have a battle for verbal superiority. Allow me to add the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. Ah! The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well, Miss Von Karma. Please give an outline of this case with as little whipping as possible. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Dunham. Yuck. Her body was found in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture, is the weapon in question correct? Very well, the court accepts this photo of the crime scene. Okay, the courtyard where Elise Dunham was murdered. There is no mistake, this was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well, please bring this witness to the stand. Edgeworth, what you thinking, big bro? And so it begins, my first and last trial as a defense attorney. Oh, y'all trifling. Y'all couldn't get her a step stool? Y'all couldn't get her a step stool, bro. That is actually foul. That is foul, bro. Get her a step stool. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Well, hold on here. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. Dude, pick a decision. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. Yo. Stand up straight. Get her a step stool, bruh. Hold on, it's getting hot in here. I gotta turn my fan on. I don't care for it just getting randomly warm on me. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain plagued witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Thank you. Like, get her something to stand on. That's foul. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me? Well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Wah! The courtroom is in the Garden of Holy Judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave the sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in summer. Apparently the reason she's short is because in the original Game Boy Advance version, her sprite was too tall, so they made her short to save storage. Is that real? That's funny if true. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? Their voices are a lot more similar than I'd like them to be, but it's almost kind of funny in that way. That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So, I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long hot soak. It was after I had finished that I was heading back. That's when I saw it! That's when you saw it. So simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple. Eh? Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. Or if my back hadn't been in such pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There is only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle, now are you, Miss Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Okay. So about her back, I don't see what's wrong with that. Let me see real quick. Let me go through the evidence first. Okay, fingerprints. It's not really gonna go into play yet. Not yet. Not this. If her back hadn't been in so much pain. She walked all the way back. That's weird, I guess. But at the same time, she needed a bath. An occult magazine. Photo of Elise. Iris testimony. Ring lights out at bell at 10 p.m. and was then in her room until the murder was discovered. Loss of blood, stab in the back, body fell 10 feet after death. Okay, and this is the crime scene photo. Okay. Alright. So, Iris' testimony, photo of Elise. Helping Acolyte with the train. Let's go ahead and press everything. What is this inner temple? Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right? We'll be the ones asking you the questions, madam. In order to do that, a space strong in spiritual power is required. There we go, that's her voice. There's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training. And how exactly do you help with this process? It's all quite exacting. It can't be performed without a nun supervising. Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. A tutor with a whip, in your case. If that's the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple, where the murder took place? Okay, her back likes to act up. She did say that already. Violently. That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training. On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again? That's right, raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice over. I knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off. Okay, so I left Iris to help the Acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. You left Iris to help? With what? What do you think? The Acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter into the training exercises proper. Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple? Well, the job is to simply watch over the Acolyte so that they don't pass away. Just to confirm this point again, that night, you met Iris in the Inner Temple, correct? Yes, she's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions. Okay. There's no bath at the Inner Temple, you see, and so yeah. So this right here is weird because Iris was never there or never appeared, right? I can't remember what Iris said about it. I think she said something along the lines like, I was afraid, so I never went. I think that's how it went, but we'll see. There's no bath at the Inner Temple, so you see I need a long hot soak. So you return to the Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath. My back is to blame for everything. It's a do or be done in kind of world after all. How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking? My, what a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind. Bikini, take this serious! I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash? Yeah, bro. Yeah, sure. You need to get right with the Lord for real. Or whoever it is that you worship, you need to get right with them. ASAP. Ah, this is why you have to watch the young ones. What are you going... Pathetic, Miles Edgeworth. The lowest of the low. Is there some sort of kick me sign stuck to the defense's bench? Yeah, Edgeworth. How do you like it, bro? How do you like it when you just try to make fair points and everyone just comes and attacks you like you're an idiot? You can handle it, though. Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand, so... It was after I'd finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it! The crime took place in the courtyard, correct? When you go from my room to the main hall, you have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard. That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case. That certainly seems to be true. There is indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what that is, I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory and observation skills are. Okay. So, basically, the note here, Iris talked about being scared or being afraid. So I think that's what we need to, yeah. Either that or Iris's testimony. It's either the testimony, yeah, it's either the testimony. Maybe we try the testimony. Was in her room. Rang the lights out bell at 10 p.m. Death was at 10 p.m. So yeah, I think it's the testimony. Let's hit save real quick on him. Save real quick. Okay. Maybe we should only save during testimonies to maybe hopefully avoid getting soft locked. It's only happened to me like one time before on this channel, but like just to be safe. Okay, so and I needed a long hot soak. Iris to help the acolyte. Yeah, let's get her testimony in here. Let's go! Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Well, don't worry, I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No! She said that? A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed have honest eyes. Okay, we don't care what you think. All people lie, that is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here, eh? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie, which means we must call your memory into question. Dear, you're older than me, and yet you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. Then I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. I mean, but we did poke a hole there. Then please add your comments about Iris to the testimony, and let us return to the cross-examination. That night, I was helping it. Okay, here we go. Okay, wait. Iris came in, she dressed exactly like she'd been at dinner. Is that so? Is that so? I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I think I already got it. There's no bath. Here we go. Oh my gosh! Let's go! Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant who you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Of course! That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute.
Objection!
Ooh. Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day, now isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know, if I find out that Dahlia is still the evil temptress that she has proven herself to be, and that she is just planting the seeds for an elaborate plan to pull off what she has done almost, twice now in this courtroom, I might actually freak out. You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood. Well. Okay, here we go. Yup. Yeah, that milk crate about to break under the pressure. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. You look at him enjoying himself, okay, my boy? Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. Yo. Order in the court! Sister, this hood, you have spare ones around the temple, don't you? Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see, a stockpile, a surplus of hoods, eh? Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. Then this is quite strange. Ah! If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away like that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness! While I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this. Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. Okay. After your bath, let's hear it. I finished my bath around 11 and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and... Iris! It was... Mystique Elise! And with that sword of all things! Mystique Elise was staying in the corner room which faces out into the courtyard. The stabbing assault must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. Okay. I think I might already know this one too. I'm not gonna lie. Victim's blood fingerprints. When she was alive. I think I might know this one too. Okay, so let's see the Hazakura map. Corner fell. I mean, this doesn't disprove anything. Taken by people. Stab in the back. After death. Bet. Here we go. Contradiction already. You saw the terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that. Okay, buddy. This dude, yeah, he might be worse than the other one. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? But that's her aura. That's her aura. Guys, I already know what it is. Sure. Yep. Oh my goodness, bruh. Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. However, I think you're overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report? The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. That's right, it says after death right here. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Dude, whoa! How long have we been in? We've been in this for like maybe 20 minutes? Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree? That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of her window down into the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss Dunham's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree? Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? No traces of blood were found in the victim's room. Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. Playoff beard? However, if there was no room in your I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure Your Honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood. When it produces the most blood, very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts as a lid on the wound. That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking. Okay, where are we going with this though? We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Okay, Franziska is on top of it. She brought her A game. I see you've been training. Ha! Order, order, order. I must admit this is a probable version of events, eh? I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point. It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please, eh?
What? Where'd the milk crate go?
Witness, please remain standing on the crate.
Don't go selling me short now. I'm not selling anything. You're the one not standing on the crate, sister.
Bruh. The weight of winter snow has bent me out of shape, especially my back and my mood. Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. Pause. With the whip? Pause. Double pause. Oh boy. Alright, alright. Okay, Sister Iris. Bring it! When I looked across the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mr. Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mr. Amy was... Okay. Stabbing Mr. Elise through the back! This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory. Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that.
Alright, I'm not so sure this time around, but we'll press each statement.
When I looked across... Hey, sir, keep it dead. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Hit him with the contradiction, or hit him with the press. At that time, was the victim bleeding? Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all of this, of course. So I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood, not then. I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the incident in which the victim was stabbed? Thinking about it, I didn't actually see her stab Mr. Elise. Okay, we need to know more about this. Think carefully. This is very important. It's Iris we're talking about here. I'm thinking for all I'm worth. No, when I looked over, the sword was already in Mr. Elise's body. It might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports her theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth. I've never seen so much blood before. Okay. Hold it! So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood? That's right! Some of it had splattered onto Iris too! When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well? That seems quite conclusive to me. What should I do? Press this point? Yeah, because that needs to be added to the testimony. That needs to be added to the testimony. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw the little bleeding. You saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now, you say you saw the victim bleeding? Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What did you see, eh? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her plain as day. Pulling the sword out? Well, it wasn't exactly pulling, it was more like it came out. Huh? Witness, you will add this testimony, this statement to your testimony. Oh, was that important? More important than you can imagine. Okay. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt. Plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. It was plunged into the hilt? Wait a minute, what? That's confusing. That's very confusing. This is just a picture of her. Which, I don't even know how this is gonna come in handy. Oh! Oh! Okay, I don't know. This doesn't apply to this right now, but I'm noticing, bruh, in this picture, she had this ball is here. I go back, and the staff is not. Hold on a minute. It's not in that. It's not right there. But more importantly, oh, it's not gonna show it right here. But it wasn't in the thing. Oh, in the ball. But and that looks like it. I don't know if that's gonna have any relevance, but that's just very interesting. Okay. Smoothly, you say. You're saying you saw the sword smoothly slide out? That's right! The whole thing happened right next to the gold statue of Mystic Amy. Mystic Elise was on the ground and Iris was stooped over her. The sword was buried up to the hilt. Okay, so in this moment it was buried up to the hilt. But then how did it end up being the crime scene showing us that Amy was holding it into Elise? That's the thing that I'm not fully understanding right now. When Iris stood up, the sword in her hand just slid out of Mystic Elise's body. It slid out from that gaping wound. Ah! And it goes without saying that if the sword was removed, there would be no bleeding. Nothing out of place here. Is that really the case? I can't help but feel that something about this testimony is very out of place. That something which couldn't possibly have happened appears to have happened. I've never seen so much blood before. Was the bleeding caused by the killer removing the sword? No mistaking it! I remember it all clear as day! Don't you think that's a bit odd? What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? Why would the killer pull out the sword? What? Yeah, if all she wanted to do was place the weapon in the hand of the gold statue, then there was no reason to remove it from the body. Right. All that would have accomplished is causing the victim to bleed unnecessarily. Your thoughts, Miss Von Karma? That's... Indeed, it is strange now that you mention it. I'm gonna need to find an answer to this mystery too. Anyway, the witness saw something terrible. So what did you do after that, witness? Let's talk about it. You fainted. Now, on to what the killer did next. You saw none of it, correct? Well, I was unconscious. How long were you out for? I don't know, 10, maybe 20 minutes? A young woman with a very prickly looking head woke me up. A young woman with a very prickly looking head? Who woke her up? Prickly? Oh, a young man. I thought it was a young woman. By stepping on me, actually. I'm not sure if I like that method of resuscitation, eh? Well, I wasn't asking for mouth-to-mouth or anything of the sort, but I would have welcomed a more gentle awakening right about then, let me tell you. I shall have words with the offender personally. What did you see upon awakening? And when I woke, Mystic Amy was stabbing Miss Elise through the back. Now see, this is where the part doesn't make sense to me. By Mystic Amy, you are referring to the golden statue, correct? Just stabbing someone with a skisashito, a sacred treasure, is terrible enough. But to then make Mystic Amy hold the blade! Truly a heinous, despicable crime. It is easy to despise something. Anyone can do it. However, there is something that cannot be done so easily. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's doubly hard for you. Anyway, what is the problem? Exactly why would the killer set up this gruesome scene? Can anyone explain the reasoning behind that? Thank you, Edgeworth. Call out the BS. No, I don't think that I can, eh? There isn't always a logical reason behind why someone acts. That's true, so true. In early spring, for example, I often find myself... There isn't always. That phrase might come in handy someday. There are too many unnatural elements in this case. Why was it necessary to use the Skisashito from the Amy statue as a weapon? Why was the weapon ultimately placed back in the hand of the statue? And if I can expose the flaws in this testimony, perhaps then I will begin to find the truth. Alright, step 1, we just completed. We went through all of the parts of the testimony. Step 2, we need to review the evidence. So, the apparent murder weapon has the victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints on it. So it has her fingerprints on it. Okay. Hanging scroll shows Misty Fey, master of the crane. Doesn't matter. This doesn't matter either. Shows Hazakura Temple, weather data, an occult magazine featuring Hazakura Temple. Taken by our people, Larice. Lights out. Cause loss of blood from stab in back. Body fell 10 feet after death. So if we're looking at this from the killer's perspective, right? Let's think about this from the perspective of someone who would carry out this murder. What would they stand to gain? So let's not attach any faces to it. Let's say that it wasn't
you know, let's say that it wasn't in this situation Iris, okay? If I'm Iris, or sorry, literally as I just said, let's not think about it as Iris. If I'm the killer and I wanted to kill Mystic Dunham, or what's her name, Miss Dunham, I would go to her room in this case of in this series of events, stab her, then she falls out of the window. Once she's fallen out of the window, the killer then would go out. Now this is the part where we need to put the pieces together, because what should make sense is that somebody wanted her dead and that she died from the stab in the back. What doesn't make sense is the performative work done afterward, because Miss Dunham died from blood loss, stabbed in the back and fell 10 feet after death. So the killer made an effort to go out there and actually potentially take the suspect. In this case, we will put a face to her. Let's say Iris was the one who was trying to pull the sword out of her back. So in that case, she would have been trying to set it up. So she was caught almost in the middle of that happening. But why go through the trouble of setting up that whole affair of the Mystic Amy statue and stabbing Miss Dunham in the back? Setting it all up. I mean, it does paint a picture. Not an accident though, because how do you die from an accident from a statue holding a sword? It was performative to prove something, to show something. But I don't think we can get that far just yet. But what we can say with absolute certainty is that the blood loss obviously happened during the stabbing and then during the whole moving thing. So that caused a lot more blood to be lost. But what is it? When I look at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. So she only saw the out part. Smoothly drawn out. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? That's when I awoke. Mystic Amy was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back. This statement, and I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. The apparent murder weapon has the victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints on it. But you saw it being pulled out, and then why was it being put onto the statue? Maybe that's the point we need to get to. What about her thing? Her has her fingerprints on it. So Miss Dunham was wearing it when she died. Courtyard where she was murdered. Photo of Elise. And where she was murdered. Okay. The instant in which the blade was smoothly drawn out. Okay, we need to contradict what we're talking about here, or we need to get onto a new bridge of thinking. I'm thinking it has to be the picture, because we have to talk about it. It's not it. Okay. It has something to do with the scene. We need to get onto the line of thinking of why she would do that. There we go. Okay, it was one of the two. Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here. What do you mean? You make it sound as though I am a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt into the victim. Yeah, and the blood. Okay, so I was like half right. We need to get onto the line of thinking of why this was set up, but not just that, but how is it possible that the hilt was covered? Okay, I see where they're going with this. I must have gotten it by accident. Then I was thinking we just need to get into the line of thinking of presenting either the sword or the picture and being like, why would this happen? And then we could maybe speculate, but this is better. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities. Okay? What do you mean? Please explain it. Explain yourself. To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone in the hilt with this? Stab someone to the hilt. I mean, if you try hard enough, you could actually. No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. That's true. That is true.
Objection!
Okay, hold on. Doesn't appear. What meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail. but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I so choose. The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit. Dude, that isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. That's true. We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. That is true. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. That's true. Okay, I like this line of thinking, now we're on. But that's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with a skizashito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly, and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. Sometimes may speculation. I'm not finished. There is still one more conclusive contradiction. You've still got more. This one is simple. If the sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? There we go. Okay, we got to that part, so I mentioned this one. If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. No! Good work, Edgeworth. Yo, me and Edgeworth get in the kitchen. We cooking, bro. Yo, me and Edgeworth get in the kitchen. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's lights out for anybody in the prosecutor stand. Yo, for sure. I don't know what it is with me and Phoenix. I love Phoenix. He's a dope dude. But me and him don't really cook as well as like me and Edgeworth are. Bravo, Miles Edgeworth, raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that. But what does all this mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but having come this far, there can only be one answer. And that is, the weapon used to kill the victim was not the skizashito. Okay. I'm trying not to be too surprised by everything, because everything about this case is gonna be crazy, because there's too many things that we just don't know. Like I didn't even realize, like I didn't even think of the fact that I was going on with what they were saying about how the weapon would plug the blood, but I wasn't thinking about the fact that this sword is kind of crazy looking, and the fact that the blood doesn't match up to where Sister Bikini was talking about where the sword was impacted into. Elise? Okay, yeah. What? A foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy-ish fool. Foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think the sword was the murder weapon? Well, it's because Mystic Amy was holding it. Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. Okay. So it was a distraction. It influenced us to believe that the skizashito was the murder weapon. Ooh, okay, I like this. That's fire. So basically the killer was using the weapon or the scene to distract from what the murder weapon actually was. So maybe this skizashito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's true. Your response, Miss Edgeworth? If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises. The obvious question? Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. That's... Answer the question, Miss Von Karma. Eh? No evidence of that kind was found. Okay. Yeah, this fire. Another mystery to throw into the pile, eh? A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast. Excuse me, can I say something? I just remembered something, actually. What is it, sister? I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was, it was just over there. What exactly are you going on about here? The murder weapon, I mean! I think I might know where the sword was disposed of. You what?
Huh? Hold on.
Well then, I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister. Impossible. What else? What else could this old woman have seen?
Yeah. What? What?
I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there I saw tracks. Tracks indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She could drive a snowmobile after all. Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time. Well, I'm not in the best of shape. What with my back and age, you know.
Bro, enough about your back. But then again, my back hurts too at age 25, so like, I don't have room to talk.
Quite. There are indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here is a photograph. Look at this photograph. A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory.
Okay.
The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple and run all the way to Dusky Bridge, taking that night from main gate to Dusky Bridge. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift, meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter, making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon.
Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon?
Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please.
Okay. Yeah, it's getting trickier.
I saw the murder happen around 11 p.m.
Okay. You are sure about the time?
Yes, I was worried about it after all. Why is that? Because I had a strong sense of responsibility, especially at this time of year. The acolyte was being doused in freezing water at the time. I couldn't very well take it easy in the bath all night, now could I? So at 11 I decided to leave Hazakura Temple.
Their estimation of the time seems reliable, at least.
Please continue, sister. And after asking that it be reported, I went to the main gate.
You asked Phoenix Wright to report the crime, correct?
Right, the one who trampled me.
It seems she is the type to hold a grudge.
There's the phone in the main hall, so I sent him to the bridge.
Phoenix Wright. He didn't even have a cell phone on him. He had forgotten about it at home, apparently.
What a naive boy, as always.
Not only do I always carry my phone, but I always have my whip in hand, too. Of course you do. Of course you do.
Anyway, I was really scared. It was taking him a while to get back. So I thought I'd go out by the main gate for a spell.
Okay.
And there I saw tracks. Tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used.
As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited, right?
That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls.
Now you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived?
Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the main gate.
So, she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by that time. I'm not sure if this is really relevant. What should I do? Press further. I need answers to avoid any possible doubt. The snowmobile in question, was it still warm at that time?
Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, eh?
What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? I'm playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used.
Ah, I see. I never thought of that.
That's right. I overlooked that too. Of course you did. Then answer the question. Yo, Francisca, you literally just a few seconds ago were trying to figure out exactly where I was trying to get to with this. Don't play like you weren't being slow with them. Then answer the question, please, witness.
I don't often go around touching hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it.
Snow? Okay. Like there was snow here.
Yes, for some reason only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow.
Okay. So that means it was used? There wasn't any snow on it. Curses.
It seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then, eh?
How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile? 5 minutes. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 15 using one of those. Okay. In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking.
Ah, there's a reason for that. Have we got a moment for me to explain? I think that's why the question was asked in the first place, eh? It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I'd fetched some water and was heading back when I went and crashed into a tree. And the tree and my back both jumped crunch, just like that. Crunch! Crunch. I haven't been able to find the courage to write anything since then. Anyway, the killer must have used it. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Okay. Hold it. Refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for? Like I said, somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes. It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile. I have to concede that that is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth? Yeah, this is tough. Iris could have done that. She could have driven a snowmobile or she could drive a snowmobile after all. While it would have been possible time-wise, one element remains out of place here. Oh, and what would this mystery element be? The killer's reasoning, Your Honor. Why did the killer do all of this? Why go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon when there are other methods? Too many unanswered questions, eh? Your response, Miss Von Karma? Turning to me for help over the slightest thing. Why don't you think for yourself once in a while, Your Honor? What? She's as over the top as always. Anyway, whatever the reason, the fact remains that the defendant could have done this. The murder weapon was disposed of in the river. Another point to me, Miles Edgeworth. Another mystery to feed the fire. Was there any reason to go and throw away the murder weapon? Luckily, there is surely a problem with this testimony. All I have to do is start poking holes in this flawed account. Okay, I saw the murder at around 11 p.m. And after asking that it be reported, I went to the main gate. And there I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those. Maybe they threw the weapon into the Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She could have driven it. She can drive a snowmobile. Let's look at her profile again. Doesn't seem to have any spiritual power. She's a nun. Doesn't say anything about her ability to drive a snowmobile. Let's see here. She could drive one. I'm waiting for you to make sure you want your secret to be exposed. Temple map. Other ways to dispose. I mean, it doesn't really... Let me think about this. Weather data. An occult. Featuring magazine. Taken by her only pupil. Rang lights out at 10 p.m. and wasn't in her bedroom until the murder was discovered. 10 to 11, loss of blood from stab in the back. Body fell 10 feet after death. Okay, we need to figure out the contradiction here. So why would she do that? I don't think it's the reasoning that we need to get to yet. The contradiction, hold on, we just got a photo. Tracks. Let's just try it. Let's try it. Let's try it.
Objection!
Okay, tell me. Tell me. I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? Oh! What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon in the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be 2 sets of tracks in the snow. Ah! I was guessing, but alright. Bro, that's the second guess that we've done so far, and we've been right. Hey, mean streak, I guess. Yo, what's your boy Zach? What up? Wait, how can she ride a snowmobile through that broken bridge? The bridge wasn't broken yet. It wasn't broken yet. The bridge broke after the fact. After she was stabbed. I believe that the bridge was burned afterward. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I used to guess my way through Turnabout of the Ages. I mean, yeah, like, sometimes you just have to. You just have to. In this case, naturally, we see 2 sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge and those from coming back. Ah! You're right! You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your previous contradiction, now doesn't it? I see. Wait a minute. Hold on. We have a weather report. Snow 7. Wait. Snow with occasional lightning strike. Dang it. Snow approximately 7 to approximately 10:50 p.m. Lightning. Lightning struck Dusky Bridge at 10:45. Around 30 minutes passed between the fire starting and going out. Dang. Why is Judge blonde? It's the Canadian judge. We had to switch the Canadian judge. We had to switch him out so he wouldn't recognize Edgeworth as being the defense attorney, because Edgeworth's typically prosecutor. Iris's hood. Yeah. I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? The idea that snowfall covered her tracks? Let's save. Okay. The snowfall cover. Hold on. The weather report. So, from the start, and then it would have covered him back. Lightning 10 to approximately 11. So they're saying that after she was stabbed, she went and drove it while sister was in the bath to go do the disposal of the weapon. And it was snowing during that time, so it would have covered the tracks, but then on her way back, it wouldn't have. We can try the weather report. Reminds me of the 8th Attorney musical where Edgeworth says, "You cut me out on prosecution, but not defense." And they called me. Yeah, I think it's maybe weather report. There is a contradiction. Let's try it. The tracks of the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge, eh? In order to dispose of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by snow. Or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary. Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Let's see. I think it might be the weather report, but let's look at... Okay. So the tracks were not covered by snow. So it could be maybe tracks showing in that picture. That doesn't count. Nah, I didn't mean to click that. Could have been... It's not gonna be this. I think it's gonna be one of the pictures. Or the weather report of the picture. Tracks photo. Because it shows the tracks going out. Right? I mean, I would think it'd be I think it'd have to be something that we're seeing in these pictures, right? Because if the tracks were covered, the 2 tracks were covered. Hold on. If the tracks were covered, then other tracks would have been covered as well. So the track showing that that whoever walked across that bridge would have been covered. I mean, we can try this one. Let's try the picture. Let's go! Here is the evidence. Oh wait, it might be wrong. It might be wrong. Okay. Yep. It was wrong. It was wrong. There's it has to be one of those things. The tracks in the snow. The weather report? The weather data? I don't know. Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Ooh, okay. So it was the weather report. I just don't know the details of it, but I think it has something to do with when the crime actually took place and when the snow started and stopped. That's the part that's confusing me, bro. It's because everyone's saying different fucking times. So we see... So it says time of death, 10 to 11 p.m., right? Too much of a gap of time. And then I think Sister Iris said like 10:50 or something. Witness, tell us again what time was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Of course, this means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? So around 11, so 10:50. Let's say around 11 is like 10:50. So it literally would have stopped around the time of the... Okay, so it would have covered the 2 tracks. If... No. Okay, I see what they're saying. Never mind. I see what they're saying. Maybe. There's so much stuff that happened in that time span that we're digging up that it's hard for me to keep track. On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder. The weather report. Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Perfect. Good work. Yeah, even though, like, you know what I mean? I don't even have to know what's going on for me and Edward to be cooking. It's just in sync like that. Order. Very well, then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. Yeah, you deserve to get whipped for that, I ain't gonna lie. It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this, then. When is the weather report ever correct? No, you've got this all wrong. This isn't a forecast, this is actual data. Forecast, data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 p.m. It's true, we cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How did she pull that off? It had stopped snowing at Hagazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. Ha! You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth. Very well, then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? It already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? I'd have to say... I mean, the photo... Damn it, I keep clicking this one. Crime photo, because the footprints are right there. They might dock me points for this, y'all. I'm about to be mad about it. Ultimately, oh my gosh! Dude, I am cooking this trial. Oh my goodness. Such a perfectionist look at a mirror, friends, right? Yeah. Actually, Delulu about, actually, Delulu got a whole wad of ego attached to her. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point, that being whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene because of the footprints. What's up? I'm back. Oh, nothing much. I'm just absolutely cooking this trial. To the, what do you want us to the 9s and back? I don't know. Basically, I'm absolutely cooking, bro. Like, I've gotten everything within the first first 1 or 2 tries. And I think I've only gotten things, it only took me 2 times once, maybe not even. I don't know. I'll have to watch it back. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception. And that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Dunham. Why is there no such snow on top of her? Or why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed, that's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be 2 sets of tracks. Like I said, me and Edward we just cook, bro. I'm sorry, Phoenix. What are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all the facts point to. This is just proving that what she was trying to say is wrong. That night, someone used a snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple, but they never came back. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, we would have seen the return tracks. The snow had stopped, thus the return tracks remained.
So that's what we're getting at. The snow stopping, or snow, if the snow was going on, the return tracks would have been covered, but it was not snowing. Okay.
Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me.
What does, sister?
There is only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night of the question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder. Which can only mean that tonight, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple. The inner temple.
But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance.
The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot.
Okay, so she would have used the snowmobile to go to the bridge, cross it, then come back. Okay, so did she use it to go to the... Okay, whatever. That sounds right.
But what's odd is when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple,
the snowmobile was actually at the gates.
I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge.
You must have failed to see it, sister.
Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple...
The snowmobile was there?
It was there by the main gate.
What? What?
I know what I saw. It was covered in snow too.
What? But that isn't possible.
Order in the court. What does this all mean?
So then what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. So somebody used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. But not technically from. Okay, so one part about this that isn't airtight is that Iris would have driven all the way. But then again, the bridge, the tracks are there by the main gate to the bridge. No, they're only there. Wait a minute. No. Let me cook. The Hazakura Temple. So the main gate is up here. Because I was thinking main gate would have been here. But it actually, wait. Main gate would be up here. So then, because she said when she walked by it wasn't here, but when she got back to the temple, it was here. So we can conclude with absolute certainty that the snowmobile was taken from the temple out. But there are other areas to travel to other than down here. So that's why when Sister Bikini says Iris might have driven it down, but I didn't see it on the way out, we can conclude, at least to some degree, that the snowmobile probably wasn't driven down here. So we can disprove the theory that the murder weapon was disposed of in Eagle River. However, it does not disprove the fact that the murder weapon would have been thrown away. They could go anywhere. Anywhere where there is snow, they could go. Arguably, anywhere where there is some form of like slush, they could go. It doesn't really necessarily have to be a road. It could be anywhere. But it most likely was not here, I'll say. Will you play the Emmy investigation spinoffs? Yeah. We're gonna play those next before we go into the Apollo Justice trilogy. Since because we're kind of playing in timeline order. We're playing within the Phoenix Wright plot line, but we're and I guess technically the Apollo Justice, whatever. Basically, whatever is attached to Phoenix, Apollo, and everything like that. We're playing in chronological order, kind of, and then. Once we finish the series of games, we're probably going to double back to, we might try out the Great Ace Attorney. We more than likely will, because I've heard good things. But okay, I need to clear that part up, because that was the part that I was being confused by. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble.
I think we've learned all we can from this witness. Yes. I have nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know.
But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh?
Was there no one out walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night out? I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that. Unless they had something really important to do. That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may have well gone wandering out on that subarctic night, and he's talking about Phoenix, of course. Your Honor, actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. But really, you know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are two things about him that do come to mind, which are, first, that he saw something incredible on the night. Oh, Larry, I thought he was talking about Phoenix, bro. I mean, he might as well have been. He categorized both of them in the same area. They boys though. This trial is the worst part of this case by far, and this trial is peak. Honestly, this trial is the worst part of this case, and this trial is peak. So it's worse, but it's peak at the same time. This part's not that bad. I think right now it's just getting a lot of clarifying information and trying to like move the smoke around a bit, because like there was too little we knew and then too much we needed to clarify. But I've been able to move past a lot of this stuff. And the second being, this individual that I am thinking of went on wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Miss Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? Larry Butts. This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc Deluxe's Guide to Obnoxious French Painting. This guy is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim, Elise Dunham. I'm saying this trial is so good, but it gets so much better. Oh, okay, I got you. Basically that it's good and that it just can only go up from here, okay. The peak you're playing is the worst part? Okay, I see what you're saying now. Her student, interesting. And why was he wandering about outside on the night of the murder? Yeah, are we gonna answer that? I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. Yeah, he is, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. That's a good move. Although, Larice, I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him right here in this courtroom. Pause. Summon this youth as a witness immediately. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. His theme says, when something smells, it's usually me. Yep. When something smells, it's usually the butts. It would not take long to summon him. Very well, Larry. You may have escaped me yesterday, but today, I'm going to get everything out of you. Nice. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. The sad thing is we all have a friend like Larry, exactly. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. Okay. Good first part. Honestly, bro, I have actually done a great job, I think, of keeping track of everything. Now, there were some parts that I was foggy on, but I wasn't completely lost where I couldn't present the right piece of evidence within the first or second try. So, all things considered, this was smooth, bro. This was an hour and 26 minutes of pure me basically guessing. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy that. If you did, please make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button. If you are new, also hit that notification bell so that you never miss a video when it gets posted. You will be alerted by YouTube directly. Also, if you want to join the Discord, you can be notified through there as well. If you have an app for Discord, download it anywhere on any device, and you join that Discord, you will be alerted to any videos and any live streams that we do. We live stream Tuesdays and Fridays for Ace Attorney if you want to join us. If not, no problem, the videos will be posted. As well as if you don't want to comment and talk in the Discord, you can also comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think about the game so far, about this part right here that we're on, and whether or not you like some parts, or what your thoughts are on the case if you don't really know what's happening, or going to happen later on. But that'll do it for today. I'm very excited to jump into the next one, but until then, I will see you guys in the very next video.
Peace, y'all.